The chord of evil. Why did the Catholic Church ban a musical chord? Music has a power to move. Harmonies, chords, progressions, and songs can transport the listener, changing their mood and their outlook in a way which seems entirely beyond our control. As the ancient Greeks used to say, music soothes the savage beast. Nobody could despise, and remember the psalms that the young David used to play for the King Saul, who was demon possessed. That's the only way he could sort of relax. Now, nobody would dispute that music has the power to evoke emotions, but some also consider this a dangerous tool. If used in the wrong way, it could create a sensation that might even be thought of as corrupting. This, of course, seems a little bit like lunacy to anyone listening to music in the modern world, but there have been times where music was banned as its power to evoke emotions and perhaps to compel was seen as evil. Rock and roll music was thought to corrupt the youth of the 50s and 60s. It was blamed for encouraging fraternization between the different sexes in a way that their parents, with more than a passing hint of hypocrisy, found inappropriate. But this was just for the behaviors the music encouraged and not for the music itself. However, if you thought that music could not be inherently evil, then the Catholics of the Renaissance would disagree. They thought that a single chord, somewhere between the augmented fourth and diminished fifth, but not quite either, was not just inappropriate, it was diabolical musica, the devil in music, and it was the chord of evil itself, and it should never be heard. Diabolus in musica, the chord of evil, also called the tritonus, is certainly not easy on the ear. It spans 3 entire steps on the musical scale, making it one of the most dissonant harmonies which can be produced. In this we find the root of the problem the Catholics had with the chord of evil. It was an ugly sound, and its very ugliness spoke against the association with the divine. Music at the time, specifically in church, was considered an act of worship, a way of praising God and bringing yourself and your congregation closer to His grace. Its composition should be in accordance with the Renaissance view of Him. As God was beautiful, so would the music associated with God be beautiful. And the chord of evil is most definitely not beautiful. There was no way the Catholic Church reasoned that this sound could be the work of God. Such an awful noise must not be the work of the devil, and as such it had no place in a church. Of course, in reasoning so the church was tying itself in dogmatic knots, God had after all created everything, and this everything also included the chord of evil. That the devil must have corrupted it in some way was their best admittedly weak attempt at an explanation. And in a final irony, the very unpleasant nature of this chord led to its being found a use in an unexpected modern arena. The jarring dissonance made it very noticeable, and this meant the horrible noise tended to draw attention to itself. This can be useful. Specifically, many sirens on emergency service vehicles today use the chord of evil in the spacing between their notes. So if you were wondering why you notice the siren of an ambulance or fire truck so keenly, you have the dissonance of tritonus to thank for that. It seems it was doing God's work after all. And this is by Joseph Green on Historic Mysteries. So that's what it sounds like. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.